Hey everyone, this is Andy from GizChina, and today we're looking at the Ulefone Be Pro. This is Ulefone's first big launch for 2015. Ulefone are usually known for making phones for other companies, but this year they're going to try and make a name for themselves as their own brand. So this is their first attempt at that. So this is the packaging it comes in. Simply slide it open, and you can see inside we've got a 1+1 style phone here with a 5.5-inch display. I wouldn't say it's a one-to-one clone of the 1+1. It has a few designing highlights of its own. We'll go over that in a moment, but first of all let's see what's inside the box. So obviously the phone is inside there. We've also got a screen protector in here, and underneath that it's actually quite a nice box. You get some nice little packages in here. You got a Ulefone instruction manual. I'll just take that out. It's got all your different details in there. It's in English. It's got a few different languages in there. Put that to one side. Then we've got these two other packages, one for the USB data cable and the other for the European charger. And I won't open those because they're a bit of a tight squeeze, and I'm sure you've all seen them before. So anyway, here's the Ulefone Be Pro. The model that we've been sent is the black version. Now, unlike the leaks and photos that we've already seen of the phone, this is a black cover, but it's not the sandstone finish that we were expecting. It's a much smoother finish, more of a rubberized finish rather than a sand finish that I was hoping for, like the 1+1. But nonetheless, it's still a nice finish to the back of the phone, and it feels really good in your hand. Now, the Ulefone Be Pro is a 5.5-inch 720 HD phone. Other details include an 8-megapixel front camera, and we've got these navigation buttons along the bottom which don't light up. But it's a $169.99 phone that does come with 2 gigabytes of RAM and also a quad-core 64-bit processor. And the processor inside this is the MediaTek MT6732, which is actually quite a powerful processor, and we're looking at Antutu benchmarks of around 32,000 points. If we have a look around at the details of the phone, you can see we've got this metal bezel. This is actually, I think it's an aluminium. Seems to be quite not a heavy phone, so I assume this is an aluminium or magnesium bezel that's running around the phone. It's definitely not plastic, I don't think. It's very well machined around the ports here for the USB and the 3.5mm headphone jack. It comes around here to the power button on the right hand side. We've got this really nice little machined microphone here, and I'm not sure you can see the details in the video, but actually in your hand it's quite nice. It looks much more impressive than you'd expect for such a low-cost phone. And it's not, like I say, they've not copied the 1+1 one-to-one. And actually the first thing I thought when I opened the box and I felt the phone and I saw the quality of the device, it sort of reminds me of the first phones that ZTE and Huawei were putting out. Phones similar to other designs. Basically they're focusing on quality rather than their own design language at the moment. But we should see that develop in the future as Ulefone grow as a brand. So a really good first start. We're running Android 4.4 Kitkat on the Ulefone Be Pro. Ulefone do say that they're going to launch a Lollipop update, which is going to be, I assume, an OTA update. Using the phone yesterday and for a few hours this morning, I've got to say it's really responsive and fast. The display is really nice and snappy. And it's quite a bright display, and even though it's only a 720 HD display, it doesn't look pixelated or anything. It's actually really, really nice. It's a it's a surprising phone. A lot of you are going to be looking at this and thinking, oh, it's another clone. But actually, if you get your hands on it, you'll be surprised. It's quite lightweight, it's very comfortable, it feels very well made, and the performance is really good. I already posted benchmarks yesterday on GizChina, and I'll leave a link to that below. The Android system itself, as you can see, it's pretty stock. They haven't really played around with it much. There's no funny UI or anything in here. It's all pretty basic Android look. So if you do enjoy this stock Android experience, you will enjoy using the Ulefone. You can see we've got Hot Knot feature here, which I have turned off. Hot Knot is basically MediaTek's version of NFC. We've also got gesture sensing here as well. Other bits and bobs. It's a really well sought out phone. Now, if I just open up the back of the phone, if I just turn it over, you can pull the rear off just as you would do with quite a lot of other phones from China. And it's really, really tight back. That's a really solid feeling tight back. That is not going to come off by mistake, and it feels very, very good quality. Ulefone have put this honeycomb here, which sits against the battery and stops the rear from being flexy or squishy. You know, really well made, really well put together. And even on the inside, it looks pretty good. In the past, we've opened up similar price phones. You know, they looked okay on the outside, but when we open them up, they look a bit cheap on the inside. But you can see that Ulefone have, you know, done a good job of the interior design of the phone, even though you're not going to see it that much. It looks really neat and clean, really nice moldings. We've got room for dual SIM and a micro SD card, and this is a 2600 mAh battery in there, Sony battery. I've not managed to test it so much just yet, but it seems to be okay. And yes, those dual SIMs are both for 4G LTE, so we've got faster data connection there. Rear camera is a 13 megapixel. So overall, first impressions of the Ulefone Be Pro are very, very good. It's a $169.99 phone with 2 gigabytes of RAM, 2 gigabytes of RAM, 64-bit processor, really nice 5.5-inch display, stock Android experience with the promise of Lollipop. It's a very promising phone, and I think it's one that if you did take a chance on, you'd really enjoy it. Do watch out for the full review though, where I'll go through the speaker, obviously the audio quality and the GPS, but just for a quick hands-on, the Ulefone Be Pro seems to be a very, very good first smartphone. Okay, thanks for your time, and speak to you all soon. Goodbye.